Let's talk about manufacturing. It's this incredible and, often invisible force that literally builds the world all around us.
Actually, just for a second, I want you to look at the device you're using right now. Your phone, your tablet, whatever it is. I mean, really look at it. Have you ever wondered how it even came to be?
Yep, that's the answer. Every single piece of it, from the glass on the screen to the tiny battery inside, was made, processed, and put together. It's the perfect example of manufacturing sitting right in your hands.
And that's really what manufacturing is all about, at its core. It's this amazing process of taking something basic, like wood or sugarcane, and transforming it into something way more valuable and useful, like paper for a book or sugar for your coffee.
But, and this is a big but, this isn't just about making cool gadgets in everyday items. Manufacturing is the literal engine that powers entire economies. It doesn't just build products, it builds nations.
Think about it. A strong manufacturing sector does so much. It creates the tools that make farming more efficient, it provides steady jobs that pull people out of poverty, it boosts trade with other countries, and it can even help spread wealth across a nation by developing new areas. It's a total game changer.
And it really boils down to this simple idea. The true wealth of a country isn't just in the natural resources it has in the ground, it's in what it can do with them. Being able to turn those raw materials into high-value finished goods, that is the absolute key to prosperity.
Okay, so you've got millions of factories out there making literally everything from toothpaste to cars. It can feel, well, a little overwhelming, right? So how do we even begin to make sense of this massive, massive sector?
How do you possibly bring some order to all that chaos? Well, it turns out there are a few really simple and clever ways to classify all these different industries so we can understand them better.
Our source material had this fantastic analogy. It's kind of like sorting students in a school based on their talents. Some are great at dance, some at singing, some at sports. If we sort industries in a similar way, the whole system becomes a lot easier to wrap your head around.
So the first way to sort them is basically by what they eat. Where do they get their raw materials? If it comes from a farm, like cotton for clothes or sugarcane for sugar, we call it an agro-based industry. If it's dug out of the ground, like iron ore for steel, it's a mineral-based industry. See? Simple as that.
Another super easy way to sort them is just by weight. Does the factory use huge, heavy materials to make massive products, like a shipyard building a giant boat? That's a heavy industry. Or does it use tiny, lightweight components to make small goods, like watches or phones? Well, that's a light industry.
All right, let's make this all feel a bit more real. We're going to zoom in on two huge industries, one that's agro-based and one that's mineral-based, to see exactly how this all plays out in the real world. So first up, textiles. What's so interesting about India's textile industry is that it's pretty much completely self-sufficient. It can handle every single step of the process. I'm talking from growing the raw cotton to spinning it, weaving it, and then stitching the final shirt. It's all done right there.
But here's where it gets tricky. A little paradox. The country is world-class at spinning cotton yarn, but a lot of the fabric that's actually woven there is lower quality. So what's going on? It's simple economics, really. That top-quality yarn is so valuable that it's actually more profitable to just export it, which means local weavers are often left with the less premium stuff.
Okay, now let's flip over to our heavy mineral-based example, iron and steel. This gets called a basic industry, and for a really good reason. I mean, just think about it. The machines in that textile factory, the trucks that move the clothes, even the building the factory is in, they all need steel. It is literally the foundation for almost everything else.
And the recipe for making steel is actually surprisingly simple. It comes down to a pretty specific ratio of raw materials. You need about 4 parts iron ore, 2 parts coking coal, and 1 part limestone. It's this powerful formula that turns a bunch of rocks into the backbone of all our modern infrastructure. Pretty cool.
So far, we've been talking about all the amazing benefits of manufacturing. But there is another side to this story, a kind of hidden cost that we absolutely cannot ignore. And that's the clash between industrial growth and the health of our environment.
You see, industry is a huge source of pollution, and it generally comes in 4 main flavors. You've got air pollution from all the smoke and gases, water pollution from chemical waste, land pollution from dumping stuff, and even noise pollution from the constant drone of machinery.
And to really put the water pollution problem into perspective, our source material points out a truly staggering fact. For every single liter of wastewater an industry creates, it can pollute 8 times that amount of fresh water.
Just let that sink in. 1 liter ruins 8. It's a powerful and, frankly, pretty sobering ratio.
Okay, the problem is obviously huge, but it's not hopeless. This gets to the very heart of sustainable development, right? Finding ways to keep that economic engine running without wrecking the planet it depends on. So, what are some of the solutions?
Well, one of the key solutions is a structured 3-step approach to treating industrial wastewater. First, primary treatment just mechanically filters out the big, solid stuff. Then, secondary treatment uses natural biological processes to break down the nasty pollutants. And finally, tertiary treatment uses a whole mix of methods to purify the water even more. Sometimes it gets so clean it can be recycled and used all over again.
And this all leaves us with a really fundamental question. There's no doubt manufacturing built our modern world and lifted billions of people from poverty, but it came at a huge environmental cost. So the great challenge for all of us now is to figure out a way to have that growth without the environmental decay. Can we actually build a prosperous world sustainably? That's the big question we all need to answer. Thanks for joining us.